In today's lecture, we'll talk about unemployment rate. Perhaps in popular media, the word or term unemployment rate is most widely used to describe the labor market. Now, to calculate unemployment rate, all you have to do is to find the percentage of labor force who are unemployed. So basically, you take total numbers of unemployed and you divide it by the labor force and multiply it by 100. So what you'll get is the unemployment rate. So let's do some exercises using this concept. So this is the data I have shown you previously. It's labor market in January 2017. We have about 152 million employed, around 7.6 million unemployed, and about 94.3 million who are out of labor force. To calculate unemployment rate, so we first need to calculate labor force. So we know labor force is equal to employed plus unemployed. So which means here about 152.08 million. So I converted the thousands into millions plus 7.635 million, and you get your labor force, which is 159.716 million. So this is our labor force as of January 2017. Now to calculate unemployment rate, you need to divide numbers of unemployed, which is 7.635 million, and I divide it by the labor force, which is 159.716 million, and times 100. So what you get is the unemployment rate, which comes out to be, if you do the math, is 4.78%. So in January 2017, the unemployment rate was 4.78%. So let me show you how the unemployment rate does vary over time. So in this graph, I have shown you unemployment rate starting from early 1940s till today. And you can see unemployment rate does vary a lot. At certain points in time, it was as high as close to 11% in middle 1980s. Even during the Great Recession, it touched 10%. Whereas right now, with the latest data, unemployment is below 4%. Now the question is, why does it vary? We will answer all those questions later on. First, let's look at some of the patterns of unemployment. The unemployment rate moves up and down as the economy moves in and out of recessions. So if you go back here, you can see during recessions, and remember these gray bars are recession years. During recessions, unemployment goes up. During good times or boom, unemployment decreases. Similarly, bad times, unemployment increases. Bad time, unemployment increases. Good times, unemployment decreases. So if as economy does better, unemployment decreases. Here's the interesting fact. However, over time, the unemployment rate seems to return to a range of 4 to 6%. And if you go back again, you look at it, it kind of hovers around in this area, 4 to 6%. So unemployment is kind of like most of the time is hovering around 4 to 6%. Finally, there does not seem to be a long-term trend to the rate moving generally higher or generally lower. So it seems that the unemployment rate tends to vary around 4 to 6% over time. It really never goes too much high or too much low. And we'll discuss later on why this is so. Let's look at some of additional information on unemployment. First, we'll look into unemployment by group, gender. This graph shows unemployment rate among male and female, and you observe that unemployment rate for men and used to be lower than unemployment rates of women. If you look at historically, unemployment rate of this gray line is men or male is lower than unemployment rate among female. But of the late recently, they started moving together, and during the Great Recession, actually unemployment rate among men increased in this part. So unemployment rate among men went much higher than unemployment rate among women. And there are structural reasons behind it why it happening. It's mainly because most of the jobs that are created in this country are traditionally dominated by women, those professions, whereas jobs which typically employed men are in a downward cycle. For example, manufacturing. US is losing a lot of manufacturing jobs, and often those jobs were dominated by men rather than women. Let's look at unemployment rates by age. So we divided the data into following categories: age 16 to 19, age 20 to 24, age 25 to 54, and ages 55 and over. And you can observe a very common pattern. Unemployment rate are highest for very young and become lower with age. So it makes sense, because as you get more experience, your chances of getting jobs are much higher rather than when you are younger. So being a college graduate, perhaps you will have much harder time getting your first job, but as you grow older and as you grow in your job, it will be much easier for you to change job or find a new job. So typically unemployment rate is lowest more older you are. Finally, let's look at unemployment rate by ethnicity. So we divided into black, Hispanic, and white, and you can see unemployment rate among the black is the highest, and that's followed by Hispanics, and that followed by white. So typically white unemployment rate is the lowest and the black unemployment rate is the highest. And one interesting fact, but as you notice, black unemployment rate is substantially higher than the white and the Hispanic unemployment rate, and which is talks about the racial composition of unemployment rate in the United States.